Good morning. Welcome. I am Stephen C. and you are at Stephen C's on TikTok Live at 11 a.m. Central Time. Today is Sunday, June 15th, 2025. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Everyone is a father. Doesn't matter your gender. Spiritually, you are a father. It doesn't matter if you have children. Spiritually, you are a father, you are a creator. So happy Creators Day to you all. This is our daily transmission. This is our daily Course in Miracles study. It happens every day at 11 a.m. Central Time. If you are not able to join us 11 a.m. Central Time every day, you can go to the YouTube channel. There are 165 previous lessons up on the YouTube channel, over 130 hours of material. So go check it out. There are wonderful discussions about the Course in Miracles, metaphysics, spirituality, esoteric, and occult subjects. So if that is your jam, this is the place to be. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I like to begin each session, each download, each transmission by reading the introduction to the Course in Miracles, which is a very succinct, direct explanation of the purpose and the direction and the goal of the Course in Miracles. And it says this is a Course in Miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. The course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear. But what is all encompassing can have no opposite. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way: nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Again, a very direct, succinct explanation, 2 paragraphs, about 10 or 11 sentences, 12 sentences that explain the entire contents of the Course in Miracles. Nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. This course is a required course. We are removing blocks to the awareness of love's presence. Course in Miracles refers to itself as a universal curriculum. The curriculum is required. We must find a way back to the source in consciousness, a way to reprogram our minds, if you will, recondition ourselves to become unconditioned in consciousness. This is the point. This is the goal. This is the purpose. This is the practice. This is the discipline. And Course in Miracles is divided into 3 books, really. A text, which is the theoretical portion of the course, a workbook, which is the practical application, and then a manual for teachers and some supplemental material. Course points out that we are both teacher and student. We are always teaching and we are always learning. There is no separation between teacher and learner. You are already a teacher. You are already a father. You are already a creator. You've been created in the image and likeness of the source. You're created in the image and likeness of the creator. So let's check it out. Let's see, let's hear what the Course in Miracles has to say today. Lesson 166, I am entrusted with the gifts of God. This is the exercise for the day. This is the practice phrase, the lesson for the day, to be thought about, to be contemplated, to be used, to be applied. I am entrusted with the gifts of God. What does this mean? Course offers some explication of what this means. But if you meditate on this thought by yourself, if you practice this thought, if you discipline your mind and your consciousness to repeat this thought to yourself all day long, many other ideas will occur to you. Many spontaneous miracles will happen in your consciousness. You will begin to think along the lines of God. Think along the lines of the source, the creator. Your mind will be healed. Your split mind will become unified. Your mind that perceives duality will begin to perceive unity, oneness. No distinctions, no differences. No kings, no queens, or all kings, all queens. So I am entrusted with the gifts of God. All things are given you, first sentence says. All things are given you. God's trust in you is limitless. He knows his son. He gives without exception, holding nothing back that can contribute to your happiness. God's will for me is perfect happiness. And yet, unless your will is one with his gifts are not received. But what would make you think there is another will than his? So 6 sentences right there, 6 opening sentences in the first paragraph. But did you really hear what was being said? Are you really thinking about what was asked? God gives without exception. God's trust in you is limitless. He knows his son. Everything is given you. God trusts you. As if you had a limitless trust account. As if limitless funds were available to you. What will you do? Who will you become? How will you act with limitless funds, with limitless time, with limitless energy? How will you apply yourself? How will you make yourself happy, and how will you extend that happiness into the world? Second paragraph begins, here's the paradox that underlies the making of the world. This world is not the will of God, and so it is not real. Yet those who think it real must still believe there is another will, and one that leads to opposite effects from those he wills. So an explanation here of duality, the perception of duality. Ask yourself the question, if God forbid me to eat from the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, how was I able to eat from it? It was truly forbidden. What does that allegory really mean? What is that allegory really about? Is there a will opposed to God? And if there is a will opposed to God, from where or from whom did it arise? Either God is all in all, or God is not. So here, the discussion turns to the will of God, and the status of the world is the world reality. Is this world that we see with our five and experience with our five senses, is it real? Or is this a collective dream? Is this a simulation of consciousness? Not a computer simulation. That is putting the cart before the horse. That is substituting the created for the creator. No, not a computer simulation, a simulation in consciousness, a dream, a mythology in which we believe, a fantasy in which we are participating, a participatory fantasy, a mass hallucination. Those who think it is real, this world, must still believe there is another will, and one that leads to opposite effects from those God wills. Impossible indeed. But every mind that looks upon the world and judges it as certain, solid, trustworthy, and true believes in two creators, or in one, himself alone, but never in one God. So that last sentence, deep message right there, two creators. Every mind that looks upon the world and judges it as certain, solid, trustworthy, and true believes in two creators, or in one, himself alone, opposed to God. How is that going to work out, I wonder? Our friend P is here. Good morning. Good to see you. Says, you ever gonna help? Well, P has been with us a few days, and sounds like they have a medical problem, but what we are discussing is the solution to every problem. So the problem is being addressed in the general sense, and the specific application of it is up to you. So hopefully you can take the contents of this general discussion and apply them to yourself personally. That's what the Course in Miracles advocates. That's what the Course in Miracles is talking about. That's what we're talking about, the Course in Miracles. So we're just reviewing, excuse me, we are reviewing this text and then applying it to ourselves. So I am entrusted with the gifts of God. I am entrusted with the miracles of God. I am entrusted with the healing power of the Creator. There is healing power in a power greater than myself, because the power greater than myself sees no problems. That is the bottom line. These are called the gifts of God. Gifts of God that solve every problem. The gifts of God are not acceptable to anyone who holds such strange beliefs of two creators. He must believe that to accept God's gifts, however evident they may become, however urgently he may be called to claim them as his own, is to be pressed to treachery against himself. The little self, the egoic self, selfishness, and self-centeredness. Am I so selfish and self-centered that I will not help myself? That I will not turn to the power within me, to the presence within me that will solve every problem? If I believe in two creators, if I believe in good and evil, I must deny their presence. The gifts of God, I must deny their presence, contradict the truth, and suffer to preserve the world he made, your own world. It is the desire to be right instead of happy. It is the desire to be right, to be justified, to be self-justified instead of being healthy, happy, prosperous, abundant. The choice is ours. Here's the only home he thinks he knows. Here's the only safety he believes that he can find without the world he made. He is an outcast, homeless, and afraid. He does not realize that it is here he is afraid indeed. And homeless too, an outcast, wandering so far from home, so long away. He does not realize he has forgotten where he came from, where he goes, and even who he really is. Right? On this weekend of no kings, do we realize we are kings? We are sovereign. We are creator. We are united with the creator. We are the king of our own kingdom. What is? We are the queen of our own kingdom. We are the prince. We are the princess of our own kingdom. What does that kingdom look like? What is the condition of that kingdom? It is ours to transform. It is ours to alchemicalize. It is ours to save. Salvation is our own. Will we engage in the process? Will we discipline ourselves to follow the instruction from within? Will we knock? If we knock, we will be answered. Will we search? If we search, we will find. Will we continue when the going gets tough? Will we be persistent? That is the only question. Will we continue until we know the truth, until we experience the truth? And here, wandering so far from home, an outcast and homeless, this section, of course, reverberates with the parable of the prodigal son. Wandered away from home, was eating from the husks of life, realized that the servants in his father's house were better off than him, and returned to his father's house. This is the eternal journey of the soul. This is what is happening. This is all that matters. This is all we need to think about. This is all we need to get in order. This is what we need to align ourselves with, and everything else will take care of itself. Check out Emmett Fox's interpretation of the Sermon on the Mount. Very popular excerpt, a lecture from Emmett Fox, the Sermon on the Mount. Check it out. Meanwhile, the outcast, the outsider, the wanderer in his lonely, senseless wanderings. God's gifts go with him, all unknown to him. He cannot lose them, but he will not look at what is given him. He wanders on, aware of the futility. He sees about him everywhere, perceiving how his little lot dwindles as he goes ahead to nowhere. Still, he wanders on in misery and poverty, alone, though God is with him. And a treasure his so great that everything the world contains is valueless for its magnitude. Now, if we don't understand what is being said here, the course does go on for another 5 or 6 paragraphs reinforcing this idea that without resonance with the source, without the atonement, without the at-one-ment, without the attunement to life, to happiness, to joy, to peace, to fulfillment, we are in trouble. It goes on for many paragraphs here describing just that. Sorry figure, weary, worn, threadbare clothing, feet that bleed. From the rocky road he walks. No one but has identified with him, for everyone who comes here has pursued the path he follows and has felt defeat and hopelessness as he is feeling them. Okay, now a little bit of a slap in the face here, a little bit of a drink in the face, a bracing shock here. Yet is he really tragic when you see that he is following the way he chose? And need but realize who walks with him and open up his treasures to be free. So a little dose of reality there. If you are listening to my voice, if you are here, if you are hanging out, you're here for a reason. You've brought yourself here. To whatever degree you accept this or not, is simply a temperature reading, is simply data, is simply information to be understood, to be processed. Once you hear something like this, and basically what this paragraph is saying is it's up to you. Are you enjoying yourself? If you are, then keep doing what you're doing. In any case, keep doing what you're doing. Eventually, as we read in the introduction today, this is a required course. Eventually, you will probably, like many of us, begin asking yourself, what the heck is going on here? How am I going to get out of this one? Course in Miracles is saying, indeed, you have placed yourself in an impossible situation. You are the Son of God. You are perfect, whole, and complete in the mind of God, which is where you abide, which is where your life exists, in the mind of God, and you have forgotten. You don't know who you are anymore. Of course, calls this an impossible situation. How can it be? Then the Course also provides a solution. It says, fear not. You simply have to straighten out your thinking. You simply have to straighten out your thoughts. Everything is fine. You have never left your Father's house. You've fallen asleep. You're dreaming a dream of death. You're dreaming a dream of separation. And that is all it is. So wake up, awaken, and sing. Awake and sing. Finally, it says here, there's 2 or 3 more descriptive paragraphs of the peril and the trouble we've placed ourselves in, the illusory peril, the illusory trouble we've placed ourselves in, which appears very real, which is experienced as very real. Now it begins to describe the truth. Now the voice of the Holy Spirit begins to take over. It says, God's will does not oppose, it merely is. It is not God you have imprisoned in your plan to lose yourself, capital S. He does not know about a plan so alien to his will. There was a need he did not understand, to which he gave an answer. Holy Spirit, the divine feminine. That is all. And you who have this answer given you have need no more of anything but this. So it is the metaphysical answer, the metaphysical solution, the esoteric understanding of Christianity, the inner understanding. What was Jesus really talking about? What were the secret teachings that he was giving to the disciples? As you know, the disciples asked Jesus, why do you teach in parables? And his response was, because hearing they hear not, because seeing they see not. So I teach in parables, so that hearing not they may hear, and seeing not they may see. To you it is given to know the kingdom. To you, keys to the kingdom are given. And so a hidden or esoteric teaching, which is the path to perfect health, perfect prosperity, abundance, creativity, holy relationships, holy instants, perfect moments of now, eternally extending into future, past, forgotten. It says, now do we live, wish, the sight that looked, now do we live, one with you. One walks with you, now do we live. One walks with you, who gently answers all your fears with this one merciful reply, it is not so. She points to all the gifts you have each time the thought of poverty oppresses you, and speaks of her companionship when you perceive yourself as lonely and afraid. And then it goes on to talk about how the gifts that we are entrusted with, the gifts of God, we are entrusted with the gifts of God. God trusts us because we are going to extend or give away what we have learned, what we have earned, what we have awoken to. Now we will share it. The gifts are yours, entrusted to your care to give to all who choose the lonely road you have escaped. They do not understand, they but pursue their wishes. It is you who teach them now. For you have learned of Christ, there is another way for them to walk. Teach them by showing them the happiness that comes to those who feel the touch of Christ and recognize God's gifts. Let sorrow not tempt you to be unfaithful to your trust. God's will for me is perfect happiness. God's will and my will are one. My part is essential to God's plan for salvation. I am here to be happy. I'm here to demonstrate the kingdom. I am here to extend that, to show that to you. Silently, quietly, peacefully, gently. Become the living proof of what Christ's touch can offer everyone. This is my purpose. This is your purpose if you are listening, if you are here. This is your purpose. Become the living proof of what Christ's touch can offer everyone. God has entrusted all his gifts to you. Be witness in your happiness to how transformed the mind becomes, which chooses to accept his gifts and feel the touch of Christ. Such is your mission now, for God entrusts the giving of his gifts to all who have received them. He has shared his joy with you. Now you go to share it with the world. I am among the ministers of God in a more secular sense, right? We are told to follow our bliss, to become engaged with what we are passionate about, and then to share that on social media, to share that in a business, to share that in a book, a movie, a documentary, music, right? To become creative with our passion. And this is the day and the time to do it. You are entrusted with the gifts of God. Use those gifts, accept those gifts, receive your gifts, and extend them. Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys passed away this weekend, and I've seen a lot of interviews where the interviewer talks about his gifts that he was given by God, by a higher power. He acknowledges that. He accepts it, and he extended those gifts. So rest in peace, Brian Wilson. Perfect example of what we're talking about today. So that is the lesson of the day, lesson 166. I am entrusted with the gifts of God, so use those gifts, extend those gifts, share those gifts. Really believe that. Really become one with that idea. So think about it today. Use that statement today. Use that thought today. Apply it in whatever way and manner seems correct to you. You will be guided. You will be supported. You will be supplied. The provisions for the extension of your gifts already exist. They are already available to you. Simply claim them, accept them, receive them. Now let's go to the text. We are in chapter 19, and we are talking about the obstacles to peace. The course talks about 3 obstacles to peace. We are on the second obstacle to peace. The belief the body is valuable for what it offers. The attraction of pain. This section is called today. What does the course mean by the attraction of pain? Well, listen to this. It says, your little part is but to give the Holy Spirit the whole idea of sacrifice. My little part is to give the Holy Spirit within me, the healer within me, the divine feminine within me, the comforter within me, give over, forgive myself for believing in the idea of sacrifice. Sacrifice the idea of sacrifice. Give it up. Release it. Let it go. And to accept the peace she gives instead, without the limits that would hold its extension back, and so would limit your awareness of it. So the obstacles that peace encounters on the road to its extension. Peace is extended by the Holy Spirit from within me. Peace is within me. The peace is the Holy Spirit. Peace is the idea of completion, fulfillment, fullness that is within me. I lack nothing. That engenders, that thought, that belief engenders peace. But it does encounter obstacles. It has encountered the obstacle of guilt. Now it is encountering the obstacle of pain because of the focus on the body. To accept the peace she gives instead without the limits that would hold its extension back. And so would limit your awareness of it. For what she gives must be extended if you would have its limitless power and use it for the Son of God's release. My part is essential to God's plan for salvation. God's plan for salvation is the release in consciousness of the Son of God, the resurrection. The sequel to the crucifixion, the resurrection. Join me in the resurrection, Jesus says in the Course in Miracles. Join me in the resurrection. Forget about the crucifixion. Crucifixion is over and done with it. It was accomplished. Join me instead in the resurrection. Crucifixion of the body was accomplished. Peace is homeless, so are you, and so am I, Jesus says. Peace is homeless. And she who is our home is homeless with us, or he who is our home is homeless with us. Is this your wish? Would you forever be a wanderer in search of peace? Would you invest your hope of peace and happiness in what must fail? Faith in the eternal is always justified, for the eternal is forever kind, infinite in its patience, and wholly loving. It will accept you wholly and give you peace. Yet it can unite only with what already is at peace within you, immortal as itself. The body can bring you neither peace nor turmoil, neither joy nor pain. The body is an instrument. The body is a tool, like a wrench, like a hammer, like a computer. It is a tool, like a truck, like a car. It is a vehicle. The mind is the creator. The mind is the sovereign. Thought, speech, the word. The body is a means, not an end. It has no purpose of itself, but only what is given it. The body will seem to be whatever is the means for reaching the goal that you assign to it. Only the mind can set a purpose, and only the mind can see the means for its accomplishment and justify its use. Peace and guilt are both conditions of the mind to be attained, and these conditions are the home of the emotion that calls them forth and therefore is compatible with them. Fear is the emotion of the body. Love is the emotion of the Holy Spirit, of the mind, of consciousness. But think which it is that is compatible with you. Here is your choice, and it is free. You need sacrifice nothing. All that lies in it will come with it, and what you think you are can never be apart from it. The body is the great seeming betrayer of faith. In it lies disillusionment and the seeds of faithlessness, but only if you ask of it what it cannot give. Can your mistake be reasonable grounds for depression and disillusionment and for attack on what you think has failed you? Use not your error as the justification for your faithlessness. You have not sinned, but you have been mistaken in what is faithful, and the correction of your mistake will give you the grounds for faith. We are here to correct our mistakes, to transmute our karma, if you will. To be confronted with our karma does not mean that we are to suffer through it. We are to glean the lesson of it, to find the truth within it, to forgive and forget everything else, and to move on. Learn the lesson, process the shadow, and move on to greater and greater glories, to greater and greater happiness, peace, joy, and fulfillment. It is so. Remember, I was talking about pain as we began the attraction of pain. It says it is impossible to seek for pleasure through the body and not find pain. It is essential that this relationship be understood, for it is the one the ego sees as proof of sin. It is not really punitive at all. It is but working out of the law. It is but the inevitable result of equating yourself with the body, which is the invitation to pain. So we want to tell ourselves, I am not the body. And to find a way to begin to consider that idea. I am not the body. I am that I am. I am eternal consciousness. I am awareness. I am spirit. Body is a communication device which communicates to me and to everyone else what my purpose is, what my chosen purpose is, who and what I have decided for God or mammon. Equate yourself with the body. That is the invitation to pain, for it invites fear to enter and become your purpose. The attraction of guilt must enter with it, and whatever fear directs the body to do is therefore painful. It will share the pain of all illusions, and the illusion of pleasure will be the same as pain. So again, the Course sets this up in the first couple of paragraphs, and there is quite a bit of discussion here. I would recommend or suggest that you go check it out yourself, the entire text. If you do not have the book, if you do not have the text, The Course in Miracles, you can find the entire text, the workbook, the manual for teachers, online at ACIM.org, CourseInMiracles.org, ACIM. The Foundation for Inner Peace website has the entire text. They are the publishers of Course in Miracles, and they offer it for free online. And it is searchable, so search for the attraction of guilt, the attraction of pain today. They go together. Today we're talking about the attraction of pain, the identification with the body, which the ego, mind, the deceptive mind, the psychologically deceptive part of our own mind consciousness, will tell us the body is here for our pleasure, and will leave out the part of the pain, the old age, the death, the infirmity, the sickness. And so the Course in Miracles says, if you do not identify it, if you do not identify with it, that is not what you are. And so identify with the Spirit, identify with the light, identify with the love of creation. And that is what you will become. So I will leave it at that for today. Go check it out. Chapter 19, Section 4, Part B-I. Go see what it says. Continue till the last paragraph. Let's check out the last paragraph together, and then we'll say goodbye. I am here every day at 11 a.m. Central Time, reviewing the lesson for the day and then the corresponding portion of the text. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the likes and the follows and the comments. I'm here every day. Or you can go to the YouTube channel. There's over 130 hours of metaphysical discussion using the framework of the Course in Miracles, spiritual discussion, esoteric principles, hermetic principles. Over on the YouTube channel, the link is in the bio. Please follow over on YouTube, like, comment, do all those good things over there too. I appreciate it. Thank you. The ego's disciples, right? So there's a split mind. There's the ego mind, and there's the Holy Spirit, or the mind of God. Freedom is offered to the ego's disciples. They have not accepted it, and what is offered must also be received to be truly given. The miracles are for us first. The miracle is for you first. Then, once you understand what it is, once you have experienced it, you can then extend it through peace, through the conditions for miracles: peace, happiness, joy. For the Holy Spirit, too, is a communication medium, receiving from the Father and offering his messages unto the Son. You are the Son. I am the Son. We are the Son. All of creation is the Son. Matter, seeming matter, and as we know, there is no matter. There's a couple guys here on this app talking about it, talking about the quantum field, talking about quantum physics, which tells us at a different level of quantum substance, quantum mechanics, there is no matter. Right? So there is only consciousness, there is only spirit at different levels of vibration, at different levels of condensation. The Holy Spirit, too, is a communication medium, receiving from the Father and offering his messages unto the Son. Accept those messages, accept those gifts, accept those insights and inspirations. Like the ego, the Holy Spirit is both the sender and the receiver, for what is sent through her returns to her, seeking itself along the way and finding what it seeks. So does the ego find the death it seeks, returning it to you. So, kind of a bummer last sentence there, a little bit of a warning as the door gets slammed in your face. Holy Spirit is both the sender and the receiver. But if you side with the ego, if you align with the ego, with fear, with DEATH, That's what will be returned to you. That's what will be sought. That's what will be found. That's what will be presented or reflected. So once again, thanks for being here today. I will talk to you tomorrow. Peace and blessings. Love you. Have a great Sunday. Talk to you later.